This is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skyazrael.com if you want life coaching and mentoring. I'm laying low today. I had to reduce some of my activities for the day from basically my rib cage down to my waist. I am just as sore can be. I can barely walk, can barely stand. I really killed it the other day doing deadlifts and squats and lunges. I had just a killer leg day, and I think I killed myself. This 51-year-old man is feeling it. Still having an active rest day, but not in the gym today. That's one thing that I've been trying to factor into my program, into my lifestyle management, is rest. For some of you, that's easy. For some of you, I need to get you moving. For some people, rest is torture, rest is hard, and I find myself continually, every year, reaching a point of overtraining, of overexhaustion just in my life. So I've been forcing myself to rest. We heal when we rest. We grow when we rest. Rest is a part of growth. Let's get into today's topic. Talk about death just a little bit. Let's just go over death just briefly. It doesn't have to be depressing. People instantly hear the word death, they get depressed because they're scared of their own death. Don't be scared of your own death. Only a weakling is scared of their own death. A warrior is never scared to die. You could go right now. As I'm making this video, before I make the next vowel out of my mouth, I could just drop dead. That's fine with me. I have no attachments to life. That doesn't mean I'm suicidal. Some of you get it, some of you don't. One thing that I realized the other day is that I had been keeping the dead awake. I wasn't letting them rest. You need to let the dead rest. I came to this realization kind of in an odd way. I've been not just cleaning up. I always keep my house tidy. I don't have clutter. But I've been simplifying to create more space, simplifying my life, looking at things and realizing I don't need that. That's gone. There may be too many chairs in this room. Why do I have all this useless furniture? Why do I have all this useless crap? I'm just simplifying. Makes me happier to have a more simple life around me. And as I was going through this process, it's almost like a ritual of simplification, I happened upon my bedroom. I took some things down off the walls that I knew I just didn't need anymore. I made my room a little bit cleaner, less cluttered. And then I happened upon my altar. I don't know if you guys have an altar. I probably should make a video about what is an altar and why do people build altars and what goes in it, what's the purpose of it, why do you engage with it. But assuming you may know all that, some of you don't, but some of you might, I realized my altar was too cluttered. So I started going through the trinkets, and what my altar is I have this little shelf that I found at the thrift store that has just two shelves. They're real skinny. I have this on my nightstand next to my bed. I have a picture of Jesus that I found at the library one day. They were having a sale and they sold some pictures off, and the story in itself, I made a video about that story, about when I found that picture. It's not so much the picture, it's just the story behind it that's meaningful, because I'm not a big Jesus freak. Anybody who follows me on this channel knows I'm not a big Jesus nut. I like spirituality, but I kind of have my own brand of it, and I think that's perfectly healthy. I think that you should be very spiritual. Every man should be spiritual, but you can create your own spirituality. That's fine. Whatever works for you. My altar has pictures of my grandmother who died, and she was very special in my life, very powerful in my life. One of the most powerful people in my life was my grandmother. I had a picture of my father. I had a very odd connection with my father, kind of a love-hate relationship with him. I probably don't talk about him enough in these videos, but it's a very sensitive topic because my dad was a criminal involved in a gang, in a mob, and I'm no snitch. Even though it's been 30 years since he died, 1991 he was murdered. There's still stuff I can't say, I can't talk about. And I've been warned by people to be careful what you say. I have other little trinkets that have meant something to me in my life that I've picked up along the way. And all of that clutter ended up on these two little shelves. And over the years, a lot of little things. You take something out of your pocket that maybe you had found or something, some item, and put it on the shelf. Say, oh, that's cool. Put it on the shelf. My dad had a little stone that he carried in his pocket. It's onyx, and it was his worry stone. You know what a worry stone is? It's a stone that men used to carry in their hand, and they would rub it just as an anxiety-driven exercise, just worrying, and they would just sit there and rub this stone. Well, my dad had a worry stone, a little piece of onyx. The thing sits on my altar. It was in his pocket. He rubbed it. It has his energy. It was important to him. Sits on the altar. So I got a bunch of crap like that. As I was cleaning up, tidying up, simplifying, going through this ritual of simplification, I realized my altar was too cluttered. So as I do with this ritual, I ask myself, is this really important? Is this meaningful? And the answer sometimes comes up yes, and the answer sometimes comes up no. So I started removing the no's from the altar. I removed lots of stuff. I removed the picture of my father. I removed the picture of my grandmother. I removed many of the little trinkets and the dedication to the dead. I left the picture of Jesus. I simplified. I realized that if I'm going to pray every single day, every day starts at my altar and ends at my altar. And if I'm going to engage in that form of ritualistic discipline of mind, body, and soul, then I need to do it right. I need to allow the dead to rest in peace. I will not keep them awake any longer by talking to them, whining to them, bitching to them, moaning to them, begging for favors for them. You don't pray to the dead. You honor the dead. Let them rest. It's all food for thought.